What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voyage RC. I got the 22 4.0 SPEC-Racer kit that I am building for Novice Nick. Gonna kind of do a different style build review with this thing. I think I'm gonna try to follow along and kind of keep you guys updated as I'm doing the build. So a more detailed, kind of in-depth, follow along type build review. Got the manual open to step A1, got bag A out, got the chassis plate and everything. I don't have any of the electronics, so there will be some stuff that will be missed as far as, you know, installing the servo, motor, all that kind of stuff when we get to it. But yeah, I'm going to get started on the build here. Try to kind of keep you guys updated as I go along, and yeah, go from there. Got done with all of the A steps, so all of bag A was done. Basically started putting together the front end. If you had your electronics, you would have the servo in by now. Build's going really smoothly. Everything's following along with the manual very well as far as the bags and everything go. So they actually label the bags like A1, A2, all the way through. I think I got like A5. As far as the build goes, there's actually 13 steps in the build, so it's not A1 goes to bag A1, but you are following along. As soon as you need more parts, you go from bag A1 to A2. So it follows along really well. All the machining and molding of all the parts so far seems very well done. Haven't had any screws or anything strip out. I am using my DeWalt drill, hand drill. So basically got the chuck set all the way up to 15, which means to getting the screws in there nice and tight and not stripping out the plastic. So quality of the materials and everything so far is really good. I'm going to continue on and do all of the steps for bag B. Alright guys, just got done with bag B. Build's still going really well. You can see it was more of the front end parts, suspension parts, turnbuckles, yeah, front end, got the axles in there. Everything's still going together smoothly. It is handy at this point to have some of the TLR tools if you are able. Makes building the turnbuckles easier, and then also their slipper tool, which is a 5.0 nut driver, basically, is going to help putting the front end together. So yeah, also handy to have a drill with a chuck on it for building turnbuckles. You can really work the turnbuckles in and out of the rod ends, kind of just work them in and make it easier to adjust down the road. That way you're not adjusting it and they're so tight that they pop off the ball studs. Also in the manual they do suggest, and what I've always done is put some black grease in there. Again, will help adjustability down the road. But yeah, build's going good. I do like that they include the adjustable or the quick tune shock mounts. You don't have to take the shocks off. You can just undo the mount from the backside, flip it to whatever hole you want. Makes it easy. So on to bag C. Done with bag C. As you can see, that was basically building the transmission. Built the ball diff, direct drive system, whole transmission. Everything went together really well. I mean, build's just going great so far. Everything's doing what it's supposed to. Everything fits properly. All the parts are machined properly. Yeah, ball diff went together really well. Very easy to put together. I did notice, and I don't know if this was just mine, but on the thing of silicone diff grease they give you, this is a really thick grease, so I actually had to cut the tip off. They are cut, if you will, so there's already a hole in them, but I ended up cutting a little bit off just to get it out easier. It's really hard to get out because it's a really thick grease. However, everything's going well. A few things about the manual. So you can see here on like step C11, it's using 2 different size screws, M3x12 and 3x14. However, when you go down here to use them, they give you the part numbers, so TLR 5904 and TLR 5910, which are nowhere noted up here. So it almost leaves you looking at the picture saying, oh, that one looks a little longer, so that must be the 14 mil and not the 12 mil. Just little things like that, little details that were left out in the manual. Other than that, like I said, build's going good. Transmission is very smooth, went together very well. Ball diff went together very well. That direct drive system on there works really well. Like I mentioned before, the 5.0, the slipper tool that TLR has, I guess only works on their slipper clutch because they're using a 5.5 on the direct drive system. So no needed, but you're not making adjustments, so you don't need it anyway. Anyways, on to D-bag. Bag D. Finished up that D-bag. I don't know why I always have to say that one weird. It's bag D. You gotta call it a D-bag. Anyways, transmission is in. Rear suspension is done except for shocks. Yeah. And like I've been saying this whole time, everything's going together well. Easy assembly. Got those nice lightweight rear drive shafts in there. Do want to make sure you use Loctite when you're putting the CVs together because it's not captured, so if that set screw does back out, you will lose it and your CV will fall apart. Never want that to happen. Other thing to keep in mind is when you're doing the hexes, those little screws that you're clamping them down with, you want to make sure you don't over torque them. It is a small screw, so that head on that screw can snap off, and then it's just causing you a giant nightmare trying to either get that one out or just buying new hexes and putting them on. The other thing I'm liking about this kit is they added these aluminum plates on the rear hubs to help strengthen them. I think that was a very good idea. Just added durability and ups the bling factor a little bit. So anyways, bag D went together really well. Next up, shocks. One more quick thing I wanted to mention about bag D. I don't know why TLR still does this, but there are 2 screws in this kit that use an 050 standard driver. In reference, it's the M2 by 6 millimeter. They are tiny little guys here and here. Don't know why TLR hasn't opted to just make the head of that screw accept a 1.5 mil. It's just rather annoying that the whole car is metric except for those 2 screws. Anyways, that's my one major gripe with the kit so far. So, step D5, bag D, 2 screws with an 050 head. Annoying. Alright guys, about to do the shocks here. Just wanted to take a quick second to kind of show you the quality of the parts we're dealing with. Obviously nice machined bodies, and then actually aluminum machined caps. One of the very few times you see that in a kit. Some guys often wonder why TLR cars are a little bit more expensive than some of the other cars out there. Answer being quality of the parts that you're getting. Really don't see this nice machining and just these sort of upgrades that you get included in the kit. You don't really see that in some of the other cars. Not to mention all the other machined hop-ups that you're getting in the kit, not just the shock parts. But yeah, overall quality of the parts. It's kind of why you're paying a little bit more for the kit, but you're getting a lot more car in the kit. So yeah, shocks up next. So even though TLR shocks are pretty much at the top of my list for favorite to build and favorite shock, The only real downside to them is that they still use E-clips to hold the pistons on the shock shafts. It's just more annoying than anything. With the machined pistons and the way they have the tolerances on these things, there's literally no slop on there at all. So I mean, it's just the annoying factor of having to use those annoying little clips more than anything. Finished up bag E, which was the shocks. Yeah, TLR shocks build really well. Very easy to bleed. Does help if you have the Tamiya air remover. Helps get all the air and stuff out of the oil. That way when you build them and bleed them, virtually no air in the shock, which is what you want. Mount up very nice. Again, have those quick change kind of upper position mounting. Only thing I thought maybe could use would be a washer right behind the lock nut on the top side. Obviously the shock's not going to come off, but I feel like it'd give a little bit extra support, a little added security up there. But yeah, other than that, they built really well, they mount really well. The stock position is kind of out of the kit. They tell you to mount it in the center on the rear uppers, center on the rear lowers, and then the front uppers are going to be the inboard, as well as the centers on the lower for the front. So yeah, car's mostly built, got the shocks and everything, starting to look like a real car. Just I think one more bag and then we'll be ready for electronics. So going to open up bag F, which I think is just mainly the battery brace, and then it's probably got your motor mount screws and that kind of hardware in there. So just going to get that battery brace on, finish it up, and go from there. Alright guys, got the build finished. Just finished up the last few things in bag F, which was the battery brace, wing mount buttons and shim. Obviously the body needs to be painted and the wing needs to be mounted. It does come with tape, or Velcro, excuse me, adhesive backed Velcro to mount the body with. And then you can use a, which I didn't install it, but you can put a body clip on the front. Mounted the wheels up. Obviously you need tires and electronics, and that's all that's left. So this is ready to hand off to novice Nick. Nick, you better start throwing down some decent lap times. The car's there. Where's your driving at? But yeah, build went really smoothly. Only a few complaints would be, you know, having those two screws that use an 050 hex driver. It's kind of, why not just make them a 1.5 head to use a 1.5. That way you can use all metric tools. And then the E-clips on the shock pistons, which really isn't a big deal because they're machined so well that the tolerances and everything, there's no slop on the shaft. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, other than that, everything went smooth. The only thing I did have a little issue with was mounting the inner hinge pins on the front bulkhead. One of the sides was a little tight, so having an arm reamer would have came in really handy, just to clear out any debris or anything from the mold that got in there causing that. But yeah, typical TLR fashion, all the parts were machined very well. All the molds for all the plastic parts, very good. Always a fun build with the TLR stuff, easy to follow along in the instruction manual, other than those few spots where they don't specify which length screw. They just put the part number as opposed to the size, and then on the schematic they show the size and not the part number. But just a few minor details like that, otherwise the build went really well. This car should do really well on the track. Yeah, Nick will have fun with this one. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Let me know how you like this kind of go along with the build review styles. Yeah, I'll try to do more. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.